Hey guys, Todd Helms with Eastmans Hunting Journals out here today to bring you another gear review, this time a rifle review on the Montana Rifle Company Junction. This one's in 6.5 PRC, and I've had a chance to shoot it, get it sighted in, put it through the paces a little bit, and I like it. I like what I've seen. You guys hear me say that about most rifles I shoot because I like most rifles that I get to test, to be quite honest. I mean, what's more fun than taking a rifle from the box, putting a scope on it, and walking it through its paces? I get to do that. I'm fortunate, more like blessed, actually. And I like this one. It's a little different. You guys look at it and go, that's a modern rifle with a wood stock. You're right. I love wood stocks. I love that old school feel. I grew up in the 80s and started hunting in the late 80s and early 90s. And we all had wood stocked rifles. And so this is a little bit of nostalgia. The Montana Rifle Company brand's been around for a few years, but it's gone through some major changes. Right now there's two rifles in their lineup, the Junction and the Divide. The Divide features a composite stock, the Junction, good old-fashioned wood. And what makes it even better for me and kind of hits home a little bit is this is a Michigan company. This is Michigan made, just like me, Michigan made. This company is owned by Grace Engineering Corp. They're a third-generation family-owned business who also owns, for you bow hunters out there, G5 Outdoors. Based out of Memphis, Michigan, this is just first blush. I love the way she looks. I had a chance to shoot it, like I said. After I got what I feel like the barrel broken in a little bit, my group's shrunk right down tight. It's a half MOA guaranteed rifle. With the Montana Rifle Company Junction and 6.5 PRC. That's it right there. Not bad. That's a 3-shot group, actually. This first shot, these are the second two. I thought I might have walked it, but that second hole's oblong. So definitely two in that same hole. I'm really pleased with that. There's some old school stuff with a new school twist that really make the Montana Rifle Company Junction stand out in its field. You'll look at this rifle, and other than like the beautiful walnut stock, one of the things you'll notice is the action. This is based on the pre-64 Model 70 Winchester action. A full-length Mauser claw extractor here. So what Montana Rifle Company did is they tweaked the old pre-64 Model 70 action, and what they came up with was adaptive control round feed. In the past, if you're familiar with the old Model 70s or a Mauser action for that matter, you had to depress rounds into the magazine well in order to load a round. That's not the case with the adaptive control round feed. It allows you to single round feed, hand feed a round without having to push it down for the bolt to pick it up. That was the case in the past with the old pre-64 Model 70 actions. Montana Rifle Company eliminated that with their adaptive control round feed. It works like this. Put it in, and it locks it down. Got my 3-position safety. I'm gonna move it back to safe because I had it on fire. Gun was empty. I'm safe. Don't worry about that. Now I have a live round in there. Just one. You saw that I could single round feed that by hand. That was not. That's a new thing. Adaptive control round feed kind of sets this rifle apart. 3-position safety. If you're familiar with that, all I have to do is move it ahead 1 click to that middle position. The gun will not fire, but I can open the action and take out the round. That is super cool. Now, to drop them in there, I'm not only gonna drop one in at a time, it still feeds, it still loads like an old school pre-64 Model 70. Push them down, they snap in place. 3 rounds in this one because it's a 6.5 PRC, because the PRC's short and fat, kind of like me. So, we're ready to go. I just closed the bolt, I'm on safe. In that middle position, I close it. Let's shoot it. All right, so I sighted this gun in the other day and shot decent groups. Didn't have a camera crew with me. That's pretty standard fare for what I do, unfortunately. And I'm ready to just take this thing and shoot steel with it. Shooting it off the bench. Let's just start at 200. I've got the gun dialed for 200. Let's see where it hits the plate. Again, single round feed, thanks to that adaptive control round feed. Drop it in. Lock it down. I love that. And guys, the action on this thing is what you would expect from a pre-64 Model 70. Positive extraction of every case I've shot through it. I'm halfway through my second box of ammunition. and haven't had a single feeding issue or a single extraction issue. It's what you expect from a pre-64 Model 70 type action. All right, let's shoot. Here we go. Woo! That was smoke. There she goes. Let's do another one. Man, that thumps. Smacks with authority. Cranked the plate a couple times at 200. Going to take it to 327 and see what she does. Fire and hole. Single round feed. Woo! Every time. I love it. Dead center, baby. Love it. Let's do another. Just because we can. I don't know what more you want out of a hunting rifle than that right there. So I have 3 rounds left. I just printed a group at 200 on steel that was sub-MOA, less than 2 inches, and at 330 yards, or 300 and whatever that is, I shot 2 touching. I mean, maybe not touching, but that far. So my sub-MOA accuracy guarantee is right there. You guys will see it on the phone scope video. They drop in that far from each other at over 300 yards. It's 330 some yards. That's sub-MOA. We're getting the accuracy that Montana Rifle Company claims that they get. This is perfect. Let's see what she does over 4. Single round feed. That is so slick. I'm loving it. Impact. All right, so I got 1 round left. We'll see what kind of group I can get at 425. Two impacts. Gotta love it. I love that positive extraction. I can't even hardly catch them. It flings them out in front of the gun. All right, so what I'm gonna do is take a look at my video and see what my groups at 425 yards were. I think I'm gonna be sub-MOA again like I was at 300, a little over 300. Here we go. Okay, so on that hit, I'm about 2.5, maybe 3 inches right of the bullseye. I need 4.25 inch group to be MOA. I'm a little further right, but I'm literally within probably 1 inch of the other one.
I love that positive.
That's sub-MOA group, guys, at 200, 300, and 400. So it's actually 200 on the nose. I'll tell you exactly what my yardages were. Sub-MOA group at 216, 330, 425. It was sub-MOA at every single yardage that I shot it at. Here's the whole point of this. You say, Todd, that's great. You got it on paper at 100 yards. Yep, I did. It's sighted in. I knew it was sighted in. Instead of being all worked up over what kind of group I could shoot on paper at 100 yards, I want to see what it's going to do at actual further distances. My maximum effective range with a 6.5 PRC and a hunting setup like this, Montana Rifle Company Junction, is going to be 500 yards, guys. 553 in this case. And so I've shot it out to 425 yards, and it is sub-MOA on every single plate. The rifle does its job. Let's walk through some of the features on this thing so I can give you more of the details, and hopefully you can go get your hands on one of these because I'm impressed. I think you will be too. All right, so what about the specs for this rifle, Todd? Well, we're gonna start with obviously the Monte Carlo walnut stock. You just don't see a lot of wood stocked rifles on the market anymore, and I'm still a little old school and I love a good looking rifle. Guys, life's too short to hunt with an ugly rifle. Right? I like wood. Obviously, there's a reason that we don't see a lot of wood stock rifles anymore, but Montana Rifle Company has figured out with this walnut stock how to ring as much accuracy as possible. It's beautiful, gorgeous lines, very functional Monte Carlo cheek piece. Gets your head up for proper scope eye alignment. Just a well thought out, very comfortable rifle. Got dual recoil lugs, front and back on the receiver. This is a reiterated version. This is the MRC 2022 receiver or 2022 receiver. This is an upgrade, an updated version of the MRC 1999. Both of these receivers, or these actions, are based on the pre-64 Model 70 action. You see that with the full-length Mauser-style claw extractor, controlled round feed, but as I said at the range, Montana Rifle Company took that control round feed and spruced it up a little bit, modernized it, so you have an adaptive control round feed where I could single feed rounds into the rifle and lock and load and fire without having to load them down into the magazine well. All right, so the MRC 2022 receiver is machined from a solid piece of 416 steel. Makes it incredibly rigid, incredibly strong, and then with the machining processes that Montana Rifle Company uses, it's got incredibly tight tolerances as well. It's very true action, and which allows it to be an accurate rifle. I also love how they've integrated right into the receiver. You're seeing this more and more on rifles. They've integrated scope mounts, little 2 sections of Picatinny rail right here on top. I have various mounting options, and I don't have to worry about screws coming loose on the action itself. It's integrated right in to that MRC 2022 receiver. Now, if I move out to the barrel, the 6.5 PRC as well as a couple other chamberings offer 24-inch barrels. This one is a 1 1/8 twist, which is what you want in a 6.5 PRC to stabilize longer, heavy for caliber bullets. MRC, or Montana Rifle Company, made their mark in the industry with high quality, incredibly accurate barrels. And the new Junction doesn't disappoint when it comes to accuracy of the barrel. It's threaded. You've got a muzzle brake that comes on the gun here. You spin this off, you could put whatever muzzle device you want, like a suppressor, for example. All right, so the barrel on the Montana Rifle Company Junction is button pulled and hand lapped. That's going to get the absolute most out of the accuracy for the different chamberings that this rifle is manufactured in. When you take an old design rifle like the pre-64 Model 70 and you put a company like Grace Engineering Corp behind it, they're gonna make some awesome upgrades. And the stock is probably one of the biggest upgrades. You look at it from the side and you're like, that's a walnut stock, Todd, Monte Carlo. It's pretty, but it's no different. Yeah, it is. Look at that. That's an integral M-lock rail. It's recessed and inletted right into that walnut stock. You don't see traditional wood stocks with an inletted M-lock rail. I was easily able to attach a little chunk of M-lock pick rail to mount a bipod on while still maintaining my swivel studs, front and back. I could put an Arca plate on here. There's lots of options that I could put on this M-lock rail. Having that ability to put different accessories on a walnut stock without having to drill holes in it is a kudos to you guys at Montana Rifle Company. Way to think that through. It's phenomenal. All right, so back to the action. We've talked about the barrel, the stock. It's all pretty straightforward stuff. But what about that pre-64 Model 70 action? Again, been some upgrades. If I turn it over, you've got a bolt release lever right here, bolt release button, rides nice and high. It's easy to get to. Got a 3-position safety right here. Again, that's a throwback to the Winchester pre-64 Model 70. Middle position, I can operate the bolt, but I can't pull the trigger. You notice there's some slop and some play in that trigger because it's not engaged. Bring it all the way forward. I can open the bolt, run the action. I'm completely empty, and I can snap that 3.5 pound trigger. The trigger comes fully adjustable. It's set from the factory about 3.5 pounds. You could take it down to 2. I was very happy with how cleanly this trigger broke and the weight of the trigger. It broke like glass. I didn't have to wait all day for it to break. It was perfectly set from the factory, but you can make it lighter if you want to. Other than that, you have the old hinge style floor plate. typical, just a basic design from that Model 70 design. So as I'm standing here filming this review, the Junction is offered in 6.5 Creedmoor, 6.5 PRC, 308 Winchester, 300 Winchester Magnum, and 7mm PRC. There are other chamberings coming down the pipe, including my personal favorite, the 7mm Remington Magnum, and a 375 H&H offering is in the works as well. When I saw that on the website that they were offering a Junction in 375 H&H, I was immediately intrigued. You get a classic looking rifle in an extremely, probably the most versatile chambering on the entire planet in 375 H&H. That's a winner. It weighs 7.5 pounds naked. This one set up's probably a little over 9, but I do have a pretty beefy scope on here. It's well balanced. You can take a rifle that's over 9 pounds, and that seems like a lot. But if it carries well in the hand, very nice natural balance point, and it points well, 9.5 to 10 pounds isn't that bad. I'd honestly rather have a rifle that's a little on the heavy side because it's going to be easier to shoot accurately in the field versus something that's feather light and easy to carry, and it's harder to hold steady on target. The Montana Rifle Company Junction is a new take on an old classic. Hey guys, go to their website, check them out. If you can get your hands on one of these, I think you'll be impressed just like I am. Thank you for joining us on this gear review. Make sure you're checking us out on all of our social media feeds. Check out our full suite of Eastmans podcasts, including my favorite, the Wingmen podcast. And until next time, we'll see you in the field.